Oh hey, there's PS Plus discount on that one other series in BB Tag. Maybe I should pick it up. I'll probably drop this in a week.
1 week later.
Come on. Come on. Damn it! I'm not obsessed, you're obsessed! So,
Under Night Inverse, Accelerate Est
is the product of Soft Circle French bread in collaboration with the renowned Arc System Works. It was first released in arcades on September 20th, 2012, known simply as Under Night in Birth. But on July 24th, 2014, an enhanced console port of the game was released for the PS3, known as Under Night in Birth X Late. X Late, otherwise known as Uniel, included balance changes, a full single-player story mode, and 5 new characters in addition to the original 11. But then they thought, hey, what if we took Under Night, made it better, and gave it an even more convoluted title? And that pretty much brings us to the present. The latest installment of the series, Under Night in Birth X Latest, or better known as Eunice, brought even more game balance as well as 4 new characters. The game has a devout cult following, which, unlike other games, is due to its mechanics, but more on those later. In addition to its inclusion in the EVO 2019 lineup, many were eager to pick it up, and then immediately drop it. Regardless, let's divide our clauses, shift our chains, and dive into Under Night in Birth. I hate that line so much. Let's start with the story. To quickly sum it up, you've got all these people who, after getting filled with a magic but also not magic energy called exists, become inbirths. The inbirths have the ability to exist in this thing called the Hollow Night, and only they can fight off the unreal black things that inhabit it, known as voids. The story is delivered through 2 modes, those being Arcade and Chronicle. Arcade is your standard fighting game single-player mode. Fight 10 matches with the boss at the end. However, Eunice's Arcade mode tells a unique story for every character, showing us what their goal is in this instance of the Hollow Knight. Meanwhile, Chronicle gives you a visual novel-style prologue for each character, essentially explaining the events that led to their arcade story. To put it simply, it explains who they are and why they're fighting. I don't like it. I shouldn't have to be the one to point out that Chapter 7 shouldn't come after the prologue. The game makes you unlock the chapters for Chronicle as you play them, but for some reason the way you unlock them is completely out of order. But the worst part is that each story is self-contained for the most part, meaning none of the stories have anything to do with each other, which makes the unlock order even more pointless. Speaking of pointless, half the stuff that happens in this mode. Most of the dialogue in Chronicle is repetitive, riddled with grammatical and spelling errors, and doesn't add much overall, thus making it feel boring. But on a lighter note, let's talk about what really gets people to play this: the mechanics. Firstly, you got this little thing down here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the grid meter. You see this clock? Whenever it goes full circle, the player with the most grid blocks will enter a state called Vorpal. Vorpal is a powered-up state whose effects differ from character to character. Not only does every character have a unique trait in general, but a unique Vorpal trait too. To go over a few of them, Hyde's character trait is that he deals chip damage with his sword and does more in Vorpal. Gordeau can steal grid from the opponent with this, this, and this, while in Vorpal this gets more range. Lene has a double jump and a dodge roll, and while in Vorpal her force function is faster, and Hill does that she can press buttons and get a perfect every goddamn match. Additionally, while in Vorpal you deal 10% more damage and get access to the chain shift. To put it simply, while in Vorpal, press the D button twice to activate it, and it will cancel the move you're currently using, so you can continue your combo. It also stops time for a moment, which helps Fear and Bloxton are just feeling overwhelmed. I don't want to make this into a JoJo reference, but however, chain shifting will give you this and some meter in exchange for your entire grid meter, meaning you'll lose Vorpal state, so use it wisely. Next up, Eunice takes a different approach to blocking. Simply by moving backward or crouching backward, you'll do a guard, but press the D button while doing this and the effect will change. This is called shielding. In exchange for some of your super meter, it'll protect you from chip damage and give you grid for blocked attacks. However, it is very situational as it's easy to punish. Let me explain. Opponent breaks your shield while shielding, this renders your grid meter useless for a short amount of time. Not only does this make it so you can't shield, but you also can't use assaults, aka an air dash that's really important for the combo game. Additionally, grabs will beat out blocking, so unless you can tech the throw, you're Overall, it's a great system in place to help keep matches interesting. Unless, of course, you're playing as owner, but we're done talking about this. Moving on! Let's talk about the characters. The great thing about fighting game characters is that you don't need 2 whole modes to figure out who they are. You can learn just about everything about them just by looking at them. And in that sense, the character designs are solid. A good example would be Byakuya. He technically doesn't have a weapon since they're literally coming out of his back. Combine that with his slender figure, soulless eyes, and overall creepy atmosphere, and it tells you that your arachnophobic friend should stay about 40 feet away from him.
Was that the bite of 87?
Now while we're at it, let's talk about Seth. Just by putting him and Hyde next to each other, you can tell that Seth is meant to be the shadowed Hyde's Sonic. You've got his nonchalant expression, which clashes with Hyde's more confident look. His weapon, the Eliminators, are blue, while Hyde's Insulator is red. Seth is one of the best characters in the game, while Hyde is okay at best. Look, my point is that Eunice is able to convey what the character is about and how they play with simple designs and only a few key details. I like that. Even Akatsuki and Elton, the guest characters from Akatsuki Blitzkampf and Melty Blood respectively, fit right in the universe of Under Night, even if Akatsuki still looks like a Nazi. Overall, I'd say Eunice is a really well-made 2D fighter. It's got fluid gameplay, well-made characters, fantastic animation, and a bomb-ass soundtrack. Oh god, I didn't even get a chance to talk about the soundtrack. I don't know much about music theory or production at all, but all I know is that this slaps. Take a listen. Props to Raito for making such an amazing soundtrack for all 3 games so far. Like, I listen to this on my free time. It's got its faults, like I said before, the visual novel style, specifically that, but I hope to see how they build off this. I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, but sometime in 2020, French Bread will be releasing the newest installment of the Under Night series, Under Night in Birth X Late Clear. And let me say, I am very excited to see how this game improves on the foundation of the ones before it, and I'm very excited to mess around with Landrakia. But with that being said, I've been Phanto Rove, and I hope you're happy.
I wanna thank y'all all for the blessings. Even those haters hating, it's my lessons. Every person that I met has somewhat of an influence to me, even bad blessings. Everyone has its own beliefs, different from me, but I learned a whole lot from these people. I'm a disciple alike, which my mind is eager to learn. My existence still so